Marimar Martinez was shot 5 times by federal agents. Then she was called a terrorist, which seems to be the typical excuse of this administration. Then learned that the officers that shot her were celebrating in a group chat, calling the shooter a legend. This is what happened to a U.S. citizen during a Border Patrol operation in Chicago. And recently released body cam footage and internal texts are raising questions about how this administration celebrates the violence and abuse that they perpetrate in communities. This happened on October 5th, 2025, when an unmarked SUV filled with Border Patrol agents were driving through Chicago neighborhoods during a large scale immigration operation. A local woman, Marimar Martinez, a U.S. citizen and school teacher, began following the vehicle. Why? She was warning people in her community that immigration agents may be present. The same ICE watch that we're seeing in Minnesota, in California, in New York, in Chicago, in DC. And according to body cam audio, agents quickly became frustrated with her. One agent said, "It's time to get aggressive." Another said, "Let's go do something."
All right, it's time to get aggressive and get the out because they're trying to box us in.
The agents and DHS said
These
Martinez had
people are
rammed
so
into the
afraid of
agent's
nothing.
car
Box them
and
in.
then
She's
tried to run
following
him
you with
over.
honking.
The video shows the driver, Border Patrol agent Charles Exum, as he tells agents in the car they will make contact.
We're going to make contact and we're boxed in.
We are boxed in.
Out of here.
Exum is seen quickly steering left and right. Then he steps out of the car, gun in hand.
Be advised, we've been struck. We've been struck.
This is Martinez speaking with the Daily Beast. As I continued to drive past the Border Patrol agent, I could hear my back window shatter, and I felt bullets continue to pierce my body. As I attempted to drive to a safe location, I began to feel lightheaded. I looked down and noticed blood gushing out of my arms and legs, and I realized I had been shot multiple times. As I became lightheaded, I became worried I would pass out and endanger other drivers on the road. I managed to drive a mile from where the incident happened, and I pulled into the parking lot of a mechanic shop and called 911. I told the 911 operator that Border Patrol agents had just shot me and I needed help. I recall some of the workers from the shop sitting me down in a chair as I was waiting for help, but I was losing this battle. I saw my life flash before me and slowly began to think that this was the end for me before losing consciousness. The next thing I remember is the EMTs putting me on a stretcher and taking me to the hospital. It is so ironic that the person who was shot 5 times by a Fed cares more about other people's health. She worried about the other drivers as she was driving, battling for her life with blood gushing out of her. This is so depraved. And it shows you who the real villains in these stories are. Is she really threatening Border Patrol agents? Can anybody, even those that are the most pro ICE or pro deportation or whatever the hell your political identification is, can you honestly say that this person was a threat to Border Patrol agents' life? The woman's name and her status, a U.S. citizen, along with the particulars of her injuries, were posted on a group chat called Our Posse. Its members include Exum, several family members, and fellow agents, where they said, "Read it, 5 shots, 7 holes. I have the MOF amendment to add to my story. I'd fired 5 rounds and she had 7 holes. Put that in your book, boys," with reactions from the group like celebrating. These people are motivated by violence. Exum texted a link to a new article that reported 2 of the bullets had caused exit as well as entry wounds. Here are some of the pictures of the vehicle that I shot. Some of her following us that Perkins took. What? Did they don't even they're not illiterate. A group member who is apparently a fellow agent texted, "You are a legend among agents. You better fucking know that. Beers on me when I see you in training." So this is how they treat abuse. It is celebrated. It is something that is encouraged. And there's no wonder there's continued abuse that happens week after week. It's very clear that their peers are encouraging them to do this. You get some sort of status. You get some sort of symbol amongst your ranks when you shoot an innocent citizen. Martinez was still in the hospital when Gregory Bovino, the Border Patrol commander overseeing Operation Midway Blitz in Chicago, emailed Exum. "I'd like to extend an offer for you to extend your retirement beyond age 57. Bovino told the veteran of 20 years. "That will be your second extension, and we'd like you to consider if this is feasible. In light of your excellent service in Chicago, you have much left to do." This is more testament from Martinez. "I've never even had a parking ticket before, and now I was sitting in a federal detention center. All of this just for being the victim in a minor traffic accident. Things were surreal. The news in the jail that evening had my story, and I was called a domestic terrorist. They said I rammed federal agents. I was in shock. If they only knew I was just months away from paying off my car and I would have never intentionally damaged my vehicle, much less be crazy enough to hit a law enforcement vehicle. She's a teacher at a mortuary school, and just a day before, she had been prepping her class for Halloween. We were singing and dancing and getting ready for a spooky season, she said in her statement. And on Saturday, my own government was calling me a domestic terrorist, and I was in a federal detention center with bullet holes all over my body. Jesus. So it is known that DHS says that Border Patrol agent was placed on administrative leave after shooting Chicago woman 5 times. This seems to contradict the emails that we just read from Gregory Bavino, where he congratulated him and said they wanted to extend his retirement so he can keep doing good work, which apparently is shooting more US citizens. The spokesperson who made the comment in an email to the Chicago Sun-Times did not respond to a follow up email asking when the leave began or if it's still in effect. So we don't even know if that's true. These are just the claims and the rumors that are told to us by Border Patrol to try to cover their trails. This type of abuse does not happen in isolation. This is a pattern that happens when you continue expanding this aggressive enforcement tactic across US cities. Operations where agents operate in unmarked vehicles, military style tactics are normalized, and communities are treated as hostile environments that people are ready to get aggressive for, to quote that ICE agent. The incentives to get praise from your peers and for your leadership and supervisors to congratulate you is what is fueling this aggressive behavior. We will continue to see US citizens get shot if this is the way that they react within Border Patrol and ICE. When someone is shot 5 times and they are the ones charged with the felony, that changes how law enforcement works on the ground entirely. And when you refuse to cooperate with local or state law enforcement by denying that there's body cam footage that we clearly see there is, then you know that the federal government is openly lying to other agencies and the American people at large. This took months before there was any accountability or anyone else saw the body cam footage. That is completely unacceptable. Marimar Martinez survived, but her case raises a larger question. If this is what happens when a US citizen is mistaken for a threat, what happens to everybody else? Body cam footage forced the truth out this time, but accountability after the fact is not the same as prevention. And right now, the system appears to reward this escalation, not restraint.